All right.
Setting my timer. Okay. 10 minutes. Happy Sunday. There you go. That explains everything. That explains my day. Explains how much I'm working. Happy Saturday morning. I actually am lagging behind by like 3 hours. Normally I'm up by 4:30 and I'm working on this by 5. But I wasn't feeling too well, so I was like, I'll just take a little nap. Put the snooze on for another hour and a half. Well, good morning, true art believers. This is Painting with Pierson, and this is, I don't know what installment this is. I changed the format so you can see me as opposed to like just staring at the screen. So this is what I'm working on today. Well, I've been working on it the past every Painting with Pierson episode since I started this, I guess. But now you get to see it in kind of like its entirety and where I'm kind of stand at the moment. So what I'm doing with this piece specifically is I have had one hell of a time with it. So what I've learned through my process of doing this painting and my other painting right next to it is when I do something like this, I'm going to design the whole piece through Photoshop. Just design it all. Get it all out of there, and that way I won't have any problems with it later on. I'll just execute. With this piece, I was designing as I was going. I was making angles with these panel pieces here, and I was adding new things that I was going in, and it was just becoming very problematic. And it was just stacking up hours and hours and hours. And then I learned a few things about how I prepped my wood panel. And I prepped it. I thought I prepped it well. It was from an old painting that I never got done. And it was from an old painting that I never got done. And so, from my understanding, I thought, well, I'll just sand off some of the remaining oil paint and then wipe it down. So I did that. It worked well for a lot of my other paintings. What I was finding though is there are certain areas that I sanded down hyper smooth. Now, some people don't have problems with that. I think the reason why people that don't have problems with sanding their wood hyper smooth is maybe a lot of them do a lot of really detailed work, which means they have to dilute their oil so that it is very viscous and kind of wet. And I think when you dilute it and make it more lean, it's able to get in those wood pores a little bit better and stick into the surface on a micro level. But when you use how I think, if you use thicker paints, there's a little bit more body. It's heavier paint. I'm thinking that because it's thicker and it's not necessarily viscous, it's not liquidy, it's not able to stick inside those micropores or microfilaments and make little bitty deposits inside those filaments. So because of that, I was having an issue with some of the paint sticking, and so I had to sand and remove portions and basically do like some sort of preservation type of motion here, especially on this O. I was finding that everything was just coming off here. And then I did a little bit, there was also more experimentation where I was using oil-based enamels for text, and that does not work on hyper smooth. It just can't stick. So it doesn't stick too well, which I found weird because they use it for sign painting. Or maybe there's something else happening. So I was merely thinking about the mechanical issue that has to do with paint and how paint sticks to surfaces mechanically. There's also other problems that I don't know or I don't have enough information on, and I'm not basing it off of, like chemically based or like chemically, compositionally. So like there might be something chemically happening that's repelling the paint a little bit that I don't know and I can't fix at this point, you know? So you do what you can do, you try your best, where'd that white come from? And you just keep chugging along. So that's where what I'm working on right now. Now, I probably can, oh man, you don't know this, but I did some deadlifts the other day. Pulled my back. I didn't do my deadlifts correctly. I haven't done deadlifts in forever, so my form was quite off. And there we go. That's why it hurts. And I don't work out that much anymore because this is dominating my life, as you can see. And because of the show that I have coming up in about 8 months, I cannot, I do not have the luxury of like just winging my paintings anymore. So what I do with this painting, it's a rather simple technique. I just use painter's tape to kind of edge out these areas. Now, I take a huge gamble, and I kind of like it now. I kind of like the process. The gamble is sometimes the lines are incredibly clean. Like they're just really, 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 really clean. And then sometimes the lines are like incredibly messy. They're like just awful. And so from afar you don't see it. From close up you see where the paint kind of collected underneath the text here. But now it's almost become part of my process. So like I treat it like it's almost like a Powerball scratcher or whatever you call those, lotto scratcher, where I make my I paint over it, put the tape on, paint over it, and then after a while I wait because the paint that I use, if I do it immediately, sometimes it can still sag and cause drips, which you normally don't have to expect with oil paint because it doesn't sag and drip because it's not as viscous. But here, I wait a little bit and then I peel it off, and then there's the excitement. Maybe I should experiment a little bit more with like peeling immediately, but I've had experience where it doesn't work too well for me. So I am going to tape these areas, paint them, and then fingers crossed, hope that I get a clean line. Another thing with tape, getting clean lines doesn't work too well when your base of your, when you have a lot of texture on the painting itself. So there's some texture occurring from previous paint marks that are makes it hard to create straight lines. So I would normally, if I wanted to, I probably could do straight lines. I probably need to get like what is it called? It's like certain brushes that are meant to do straight lines that lettering paint, sign painters use. And what it does is it allows you to create a pretty crisp straight line. But I don't worry about such things because, as I said, it's almost like a little gamble for me. And now that I'm here, I noticed that I should probably put something right here is missing. I need to do a little gray right there. As you kind of know, this is kind of painful to sit like this because I've hurt myself. So, sitting up straight, and all I'm going to do is just take these areas and paint them. I probably won't get to that. It's going to take me a few minutes to kind of line them up to where I want them. As you notice, I use the blue tape. I also have a variety of other tapes. I have this special Dick Blick artist tape. I find that it works okay. It's not as it doesn't have it's good because it doesn't have a lot of tack to it. But the problem with it is it has a really big, it's really thick tape, and I find that really thick tape is hard to press in the fissures of this canvas or this surface here. So I'm just going to line this up the best that I can. Again, since I'm talking, I'm really distracted. And I think that'll be good. And So now that that's lined up, now what you want to avoid like Scotch tape. I find it's too tacky. Even this is too sticky. Really big gamble on any painting, because no matter how affixed your painting is, this stuff really does pull things off. You know, you want something that doesn't pull, is not going to tear. You know, when you stick tape on paper and if it tears it, you can understand. You can make the assumption that it is going to probably pull off paint, no matter how bonded it is to it. Sometimes sometimes you might get lucky, and certain bonds work better than others. I do agree on that. But in this instance, you want less tacky paint. So that's it. I'm going to work on this for another 80 minutes. I just want to talk about where I'm at in the process. Hopefully I'll get this done by the end of next week, and I guess I'll work on these cherries. I'd like to talk about these cherries because this is the next thing I'm going to do. Text first, or text. I kind of bounce between text and cherries, and then once I get these two done, I'm going to do a once over on the figure, because I want to do a little bit crisper lines. I want to define some things a little bit. You still see a little bit of underpainting there. I need to find a better photo to work from, because I'm working off a 500 pixel photo, and when I get a better photo, I'll be able to work on this figure a little bit better. With a bad photo, you can do a pretty good job on this area, on like big parts. But when you want to go to the face, and then you look at the face, and like the side plane of that face is just so blurry, you're like, where's the eye begin? Where does the cheek begin? Is it in here and there? Is this the nose, or is this the cheekbone there? I don't know. Where does the side plane of that lip happen? I don't know, because the photo is so bad. So you gotta look for good photos. And in the future, I'd love to have like actual bodybuilders pose for me, but that's something that I would never be able to afford at this venture. Maybe when people start seeing this stuff, I'll get photo sessions in, and they'll be forever enshrined into a painting. Although they might not like what I do with it, so that's another thing. You know, I tend to like to do humor on my paintings, and sometimes humor can be a little bit not funny to the person that I'm making fun of. And I'm not making fun of them, I'm like doing little jokes. Anyways, I'm not making fun of them. It's how I am. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. I am Matt Pierson. This is Painting with Pierson. You can view more of my work at www.mattpearsonart.com. You can also follow me at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Matt Pierson Art, and you'll get more information on stuff I'm working on outside of this, like watercolor. Sometimes I post drawings, or I don't even know. It's all a crapshoot. I just kind of post whenever I can and respond whenever I can. But thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate your support. As always, Painting with Pierson. Bam. Yeah.